A little bit
The
wonky.
Ambessa R5, Wolf.
This can be quite tricky to pilot into the Gwen with the kind of rework of the Gwen where she's a lot.
I was a little bit worried about him on the Gwen, but he's done a great job thus far.
Do have
dear.
Peter.
Oh dear. Okay, handshake going to go straight through as Peter does manage to snare them. And also the Blooming Burst doing some work there as Cuz is moving up. Bailout now down, but it's on to Viper, and that's going to mean that Delight has to flash, pounce forward. First blood for Cuz.
Cuz the spear accuracy has been great in this second game.
He used up all of his misses on his impales in the last game, okay?
That was really well played. Excellently baited as well.
Ooh, some needlework here towards the bottom side as the ulti to come out from Zeus. Let's see whether he can actually win this one as the extra healing helping Perfect out. So a trade of ultimates, and now, okay, Zeus still wanting more. He's landing all these buttons. One more, and the flash forward's gonna do it, and Perfect, you saw that.
Yeah,
Didn't like how that one worked out.
Hands right off the keyboard into almost a little angry clap there. Not happy with how that went for sure. And up here on the top side, Hanwha Life getting back control as well.
He just needed to flash earlier, right? And I think that's why he was frustrated, as he pressed the flash button anyway. Good handshake is going to come in onto Cuz, but BDD is turned up, and Delight is once again in trouble. Another kill comes forward, as that's the decoy that they're fighting for the moment, and KT is going to be okay with this. Zeka with a buster shot now, built up for himself. Not going to connect those chains for Viper's flash.
Yeah, Cuz.
Oh dear. Zeka very, very close to falling down there. Does get delayed and also misses that cannon. And that is plate gold going over to BDD. That is that advantage. Only extending. As okay, Arrow going to connect here onto Peanut. A Cyclone comes in and Cuz has to flash away the Pop Blossom. A little bit disjointed and Peter is going to be taken down. There's kill number one for Viper. Hostile takeover going to come on through, and Cuz able to pounce over the wall. Doctor getting to relative safety, and now the spears are coming in.
And a bit of a late addition with Peter. Hasn't quite figured it out yet.
Is Doctor gonna be okay?
He does not have ult, but he is Ash.
Moved quite slowly. And no flat, he's so dead. Like, I feel like there was a ward there. Had to flash it. Man, that could have been really confusing because he's like, oh, but the Ash is on my team, so I'll be fine. No, not fine. And thankfully, he's not as silly as I am. Needlework landing onto Zeka here on the top side of the map as there's a teleport in as well. Peter's moving over as there's another arrow and another mid laner using their flash. But can he avoid the rest of it? And the answer is yes. Still going to be this turret falling lower and lower. And remember, this is 5 grubs for KT. Doctor, once again in an awkward spot. Good sidesteps. He's still dead. As once again, Doctor out of position will get rendered down. This turret does fall, though.
First turret, so that's a big win here. They don't get the turret, but if they had stayed, Peanut just carries that as BDD. Whoa.
Oh, dear. Well, Peter is moving on up, finds a Pop Blossom.
There's an angle.
Yeah, Spear is going to connect gorgeously. Done. And it's the buster shot to bust Zeka's skull. That's going to make my job very difficult.
I think this was the right call from KT. You know, you've got a Gwen on the side.
Yeah.
Take out that whole turret. You got the teleport from Zeus. Just kind of stick around the Herald, but don't commit.
And now Delight finds himself in an awkward spot. Fate's Call has to be traded for the arrow. Good arrow that time from Doctor out.
And they have caught Delight now 3 times. This time he survives with Viper's Fate's Call there. Did have his flash as well, but he'd rather keep that one. But they're going to teleport BDD mid. I think they are going to look for the contest, but it's so slow.
Yeah, Hawkshot is going to fly over. I think Cuz getting the bad news here, knows that he's not going to be able to get in. So that's some upgraded shoes here for
in this next Dragon fight, but they bought themselves some additional time.
Ooh, Arrow going to be flying into Delight here, looking to try and get another Fate's Call, but that's on cooldown, so Delight is just dead. Peter's the one that actually picks up the kill, even though the explosive charge was there. But KT, another great pick.
Angle I was talking about would be a little bit more relevant. Now he just kind of wins when no one's there. Well, he still kills turrets fast, but he's not going to do it if someone else is there. Hanwha Life know that he doesn't have teleport, though, and they're going to grab this Herald drop and even potentially turn this into an Otacon take if KT are slow to respond. Remember, Perfect not showing on the map once he clears this wave, and it's going to take him a while to get up, though.
Yeah.
Hanwha Life have so much tempo here.
Hawkshot flying over, Peanut spotted, starting this Otacon. And remember, it is dangerous, especially when KT can just take pot shots at them. Let's see whether Peter can line up a good engage angle. The Shape Splitter coming on in now. Spears still just trying to find the mark, and KT setting themselves up. Zeka now with that explosive charge on him, but there's the public execution. Pop Blossom going to be used, and BDD trying to get himself over the wall. Buster shot to get rid of Zeus, and it's now a cacophony, but KT are winning it. There's the bailout, but it is not enough, and KT just put HLE in the ground.
This was a very disastrous fight for Hanwha Life. Right before, it's hard for him to get in there with the cycle, with the setup they had, but unfortunately, everyone piles in on Peanut's call, and the Pop Blossom just wins the fight for KT. Big error.
Giving him POM. Because even in game one on his Alistair, he was the one that was making a lot of these proactive plays, trying to get something to happen. And I just really like the gusto from the man. He's so easy to like, you know, as a player.
Absolutely.
So honestly, any game that KT wins, it's always a Peter angle.
Reason why he decided to go lethality, but it's definitely not doing him any favors with the game state now.
Not quite. It is difficult to play, as now Zeus is just going to get blocked off. They don't have quite the luxury of the amount of vision control KT does have just in their kits. KT's still going to get pressured away. Remember, if HLE just group up as 5 and find a target, it is going to be pretty difficult for KT not to just instantly die. As Arrow picked up by Zeka, and the Infernal Drake getting aggressive. HLE getting chunked out by just the Dragon alone, but look at Zeus finding this flank angle. Gets a Cinder for the speed up as well. Remember, the public execution going to be such a big deal. And BDD already just jumping on in. That is going to be Peanut locking down the Drake. KT, though, they're looking for this Ambessa, who's just thrown around like a ragdoll. There's a Pop Blossom landing on a 2. Viper nailed by the arrow, and 3 are on the ground in an instant.
And the good news for Hanwha is you got the Dragon. The bad news is you got wiped again. And I think it was a great call by BDD to chase the Zeus on the flanking Zeus, chase the Ambessa there, deny his entry, keeps Duckdom super safe there in that situation. And that's a team fight win here with longer deaths, your respawn timers here, and a Gwen Tristana. They could just try to push to end. They've got enough minions here.
Oh,
it's gonna be a tough defense.
Okay, yeah, let's not get overly enthusiastic, because there's a huge Pop Blossom from Zeka. It's just not enough to actually take anyone down. The first Nexus turret falls. Peanut using his decoy effectively. But the mid lane,
they have to make every right choice, and the poke is continuing to land.
Yeah, more and more spears flying through. Kuz able to steal away the enemy blue buff there as well. It's going to be helpful as they set up this poke. But KT, in the meantime, have been able to just take down this Dragon. Everyone able to dash. Trying to grab that Grump from downtown.
I mean, they have vision cleared out. They're playing super far forward here. Look at how blind Hanwha are, trying to find an angle.
Oh, well, Arrow is going to connect onto Kuz. They're going to blow him up, or attempt to, but he goes golden. I just don't know whether he's going to be able to get out. The hostile takeover, it almost actually gets him out of there, but now the fight has been engaged. The Pop Blossom is decent, and now it's BDD looking for the resets. He locks down Zeka. He's already found Peanut, and Duckdom goes down, but BDD is the one that means everything for KT. Perfect now has the matter in his own hands, but everyone's dashing away, and HLE! Oh no, KT now left in the dust. That's the ace. And Viper, even though he is
they're chained it together, and sure, they trade back the kill onto Peanut instantly. Zeka goes down, but watch Viper. Viper will carry when you give him these opportunities. Bailout gives him just enough Viper. He cleans up house again. And I just thought this game wasn't winnable, to be honest. I wasn't hyped for KT. The composition, the game state, everything, but KT gave him the perfect opportunity, and Viper seizes those every single time.
Take my POMs, Viper. This guy. Doesn't matter what the build is when you're that good, I guess.
It's not over, but now HLE have a Baron to work with. There's a ton of standing gold on the map for them to pick up. And this situation should have never happened.
Yep. Beautifully done. And now KT, they're back on the map. Of course, there's not a whole lot that was picked up outside of the Baron, as hostile takeover is not going to be enough to make sure that Delight survives. So that is going to put a dampener in this Baron. It is already under just the default gold that you get from killing it. And so KT still in the driver's seat. They still have a gold lead. And the Arrow is going to sail through and lock down Duckdom. Another defensive Pop Blossom. Peanut cannot do anything.
Can't get in there. Peter says no.
Like, everyone has to be in line, right? Like, everyone has to engage at the same time.
I mean, HLE just got to the Dragon kind of for free here. KT need to get Peter into position to engage. That's still a Callista on a Dragon.
It's still going to be very hard to stay on this Dragon, but they do so much damage to it. Kuz really going to have to try and land this spine. Remember, there's a Rend. As okay, Pop Blossom stolen by Zeka, doesn't do too much, but they get the Infernal Soul still. Look at this damage. BDD with the Buster Shot saves his own life as Peter trying to get in there. One with the Pop Blossom, but it's not quite enough. Still BDD free hitting over the wall. It's a double for Perfect, who goes golden, and now Zeus gonna be taken down. BDD with the triumph, stays alive. There's an ace, and I think KT may have just brought us to a game 3.
You're not sure, but you want to believe.
You're never sure with KT.
I think there's a pretty even higher statistical likelihood that KT wins the game from here.
There is a high chance that if this Nexus explodes, KT will have an opportunity to go to a game 3. That is likely happening, and in fact, it is. KT with their first win of 20.